Together with senior marketing executives, we'll explore trends and challenges shaping the strategic agenda for CMOs. For this session, our moderator is the MMA Germany Executive Chairman. He is and has always been on the forefront of mobile marketing and is also called Mr. Mobile. Welcome, Marc Wächter. There you are. Of course. Marc, you won't be alone on stage. Let me introduce your panelists for you. It's the head of group media at Deutsche Telekom, Daniel Jäger, head of global brand marketing at BSH or BSH, Hilal Excel Merta, the marketing director at Cupra and Seat, Giuseppe Fiordispina, and the director of marketing solution at LinkedIn, Henrik Ilo. Welcome on stage. Hello.
Have a mic. Wherever you want to sit. By the way, Elvin, are you here? Who had the funny idea to do a MMA Next conference, or looking into the future, in a hotel coined Titanic? Good question. Well, maybe we take that picture and imagine we are in that red ocean. Yeah? Titanic is going down, and we need to survive. And we talk about challenges and opportunities and whatever is next, coming next. Some people survived Titanic, yeah? So you are survivors now, okay? So let's jump into it. We only have like 15, 20 minutes. Oh, I'm sitting on a mic. I'm sitting on the mic. Oh, good, oh, good. Yeah, so basically we wrap it up. Yeah, so we saw good things today about the challenges and the opportunities of marketing and marketers and creative agencies and media guys and the buddy coined AI. If we look into 2025, because we want to talk about your agenda, CMO Agenda 2025, Daniel, you look at me like you want to answer that. No, but what's on your table? Put away everything we heard today. What's on concrete on a global head of media, Deutsche Telekom table 2025? Yes, pile it up.
So many things, but I first want to refer that we're not only in Titanic, but also in Berlin. Looking out for some votes next year and like voting, and probably also a recession next year in our country, if you look at numbers. And I think that's probably something that affects all of us, especially right here in Germany. And this influences budgets. This influences how we treat our budgets in the markets, how we split our shares in between several media. But it goes beyond that. So if you're asking me what's on my agenda, it's really a lot. You guys heard a lot of stuff already today, and I'm really grateful. I love it that you brought sustainability up again, because that's the first point. I think we need to always work on a long-term perspective, not just on hype cycles. And that was something that I, at least, experienced in the last 2 years. That sustainability was one of the topics that wasn't the hype cycle. Everybody was like, yeah, we need to be sustainable. We need to have strong ESG goals and so on. Then it was gone. This is something that is on our agenda as well. We're not talking so much about it, but however, this is something that I think we owe the society. There's a lot more. Mainly, it's really about impact, creating impact. If you have less money, you need to ensure that your money is invested right. So, and we can see that a lot of the stuff that we're doing and that everybody's doing, actually, probably also sitting in that room, is just waste. And reduce the waste, be better, which is also good for sustainability, by the way. If you do less waste, then you have less CO2. And then most of the, if you look at impact, you also mostly look at relevance. And there, the customer comes into play again. So I think in our marketing bubble, and let's be fair, it's a bubble, right? I mean, we're sitting at events telling us stories about the same stuff all year through, and probably next year again. But there are customers out there, and the brand that is strongest will probably succeed. So, and to be a strong brand, you need to be relevant for the customer, and you need to stay relevant. And this is what brand preference, mental availability, salience, this is what we need to work on.
Giuseppe, you're looking like you want to second that.
You know, I mean, I was preparing in my mind all this, what I wanted to say, but Daniel obviously said it all, or a big part of it. I think to make it really, really simple, I mean, one of the biggest challenges, at least, you know, in automotive, is somehow, and working for a very young brand, 6 years old only, we become 7 next year, is just protecting the brand health, you know, in an environment where we don't know what's coming next. Probably with the new election, there will be some supports for the electromobility, but we don't know when. Then, you know, the budget is not growing, but probably even shrinking. And then the growth in a recession environment is given because, you know, a young brand needs to grow. So, you know, all these factors bringing together somehow really you are at the point where you have to make decisions in terms of whether you go and push the sales part, or you really try to come up with solution where you try to protect your brand and because at the very end this is the driver for growth, you know. So it sounds very simple, but at the end this is the ultimate goal and probably also the biggest challenge I see in my work. Yeah.
And within Volkswagen, at least you're sitting
Exactly.
on a sexy, funky, cool brand, right?
Yeah, I'm sitting on a sexy, funky, cool brand, but we are part of the Volkswagen Group. We are part of an industry which is really pretty much under pressure, you know. Many factors, the electrification, also the how do you say it, the readiness of the customer to you know, really open up on these new technologies. And then, of course, we can talk about the fragmentation in the digital world. We can talk about new tools. We can talk about, you know, I've heard about AI and all this stuff. I do believe in it, don't misunderstand me. But then I think one of the biggest challenges as a CMO is really to pick the right tools, because more tools does not bring you the solution, you know. And I think this is something we need really to be aware of. And then when you talk about the digital part, you know, we have to talk about viewability topics. I mean, as simple as it might sound, but this is a topic. We have to talk about even in this world of fake news and all this stuff, about ad suitability, about ad fraud and all this stuff. It really, you know, I don't know where to start and where to end, but at the bottom of everything, to me at least, is you as a CMO, you need to protect your brand and make sure that the brand health is given for the next, I don't know, at least 12 months or more, hopefully.
Talking about tools, quoting my colleague Beate, she said there are kind of 14,000 MarTech tools in front of your desk. Yeah? So how do you survive? How do you pick and choose the right tools?
Two things. I want to go back to what Santiago started with, transformation. It's really the biggest agenda at the moment. And I kind of use the word open heart surgery a lot. You know, a lot of iteration, a lot of trials, but then the pressure to perform in a transforming world. So you're operating on a living person, being, and operating on your day-to-day business and testing things. Of course, partnering is very key. Environments like this, being part of it, this community is very key because you have to learn, you have to look at things outside of the box. So yeah, it's really a lot of iteration. I sometimes call it even a relay race, like a Staffellauf, because you know, usually you have to run together parallel, and sometimes you have to give out 4 flags. You know, a lot of blueprint work, you know, trying to do things different and better every day. So yeah, that's pretty much the agenda at the moment. But I also want to highlight what Denise said. I think strategy is very key. I mean, when you are working so much with the how, you also have to be very clear as for your what. You know, focus. What are you not? Purpose, what you stand for, what do you mean? Because you cannot scatter around yourself, and you have to be very clear in your identity, so you can frequently repeat that and be clear on that. And then still with that strong anchor, co-create with a community, because there was also the flexibility element that was mentioned, I think it was Beate, so you can dance around this core. So yeah, transformation, open heart surgery, and a clear strategy.
That's one for 2025, open heart surgery. Santiago was mentioned already. He said something like marketing capabilities are getting disrupted. So you're sitting on a nice algorithm. We all use your platform. You must have awesome insights into the fear of marketers, how to survive the jungle. So I don't know, maybe you share something of your insights of LinkedIn, how we behave and how do we train and what do you guys offer for us to survive?
Sure, and I think, yeah, heart surgery puts it right well. So at LinkedIn, of course, AI is a very dominant topic for us, both from a technological perspective. We think about the platform, how it operates, how we kind of target, and how our products work. But yes, I think even more, and I think that's the most important part of AI to really think about, especially from a leadership perspective, is how AI is going to transform the skills to perform the work we do. And because what we really see in our data, I mean, as you just mentioned, LinkedIn has a huge amount of data. We can see trends in the workforce, what is happening globally and so on. And just to call out some numbers, so in the last 10 years, we saw roughly a 25% of all skills changing on the platform. So that's kind of a strong evolution already, strong change. I think many of us feel that we already experience a lot of change. But for the next 5 years, by 2030, we expect skills to change by 68%. So half the time, more than double the amount of change. And that's also reflected in when we do research, when we talk to marketers, marketing leaders, CMOs, and so on. We hear a lot about already feeling overwhelmed by everything that's happening. We talked about tools, but also the skills we need to learn and we need to change. And this is going to accelerate further. So I think one of the biggest challenges for us as marketing leaders to really tackle and think about is how to cope with that, how to do about it. But I personally think, and that's something I'm excited about, it's going to change also in the positive direction, because the future of our work will be less tactical, will be more demanding, more fulfilling, more efficient, more agile, and I think most importantly, more human. And that's the most important thing, I think, to really double down on. At the moment or in the past, we're operating in a knowledge economy, and now we're shifting into a relationship economy. So it's really important to keep in mind that it's all about relationships in the AI age. And that's something I think LinkedIn, of course, is quite well positioned with that, because it's all about driving relationships. But that's really what we need to do.
So if we humans want to survive, we need to build relationships, yeah?
I would like to challenge that, because I think AI, and I'm also a strong believer in AI as a efficiency tool, and also Iskra said you can do it for good, you can use it for good. However, it's complicated. So how many developers really know what their algorithms do? However, I think at the end you still need to steer the whole thing. Somebody needs to steer. You can't let AI steer them itself. So therefore, I think there needs to be a clear understanding of what AI can do and how you can better use it as a tool. And therefore, you need, so it might be very fulfilling, but also demanding, because you need to be super smart. You need to be ahead of the game. You need to somehow understand. And also what you said, there are so many options where you possibly could use something, and you need to make a decision. Because if you want to do everything, it's just not possible. You need to really focus. And therefore, I'm not quite sure whether it will be that rosé landscape of work that you just said. I think it will be really demanding and a lot of work for all of us.
And maybe to add to that, what AI can do is changing every day. So you have to keep up with what's going on. And I think one of the challenges we have for 25 is really managing expectations. I mean, Julia was saying, is it in the financial goals? Yes, it is. There is an expectation there that there will be savings, and I think Santiago was sharing it was up to 30%, if I'm not wrong. But then, because it's changing every day, and you're meanwhile trying to adapt to all those changes, it's really a key topic for us all to manage expectations. You know, where does this take us? Because it's organically changing, and what it can offer us is being updated every day. So where does this leave us in end of 25? How do we forecast? Is another problem I see.
But just to comment on it, so I didn't say like everything will be positive. I talked about the feeling of being overwhelmed, and this is going to accelerate. So I think this kind of lack of orientation, you don't really know what to focus on, what to learn, what to do, this is going to accelerate, and this is a huge challenge already today for my team, to be honest, and I think in a couple of years this will become much more worse. So I totally agree, the most important skills from our perspective that will be critical for marketers and marketing leaders to really adopt is, first of all, AI proficiency. It's the number one, not surprisingly, but really take it serious, think about how to become an AI expert in everything you do. That's really number one. And the second one is adaptability, and that's what you just mentioned. I think it's really important to be able to navigate change, get used to it, try new things and so on. So it's definitely a lot to digest and to cope with in the future. So I don't want to kind of describe it in a too rosy way. I agree.
Just to amend one thing, for me AI is just something. It needs to be for a purpose. And therefore, I think advertising is not so complicated. I already said it, it's about relevance. It make your brand relevant, right? Protect the brand. However...
But also test and learn. Open up for new technology, iteration. You know, this should be something we have to adopt in our daily work in marketing. And I would bring it also one step further. I think this kind of technology, for example, because we're talking about AI, and I think it's also the biggest topic now, it's not only about learning and using AI, it's also about what it does for you as a marketing department. Because I think, personally, at least this is my goal, a marketing department in an organization should be the innovation driver. Otherwise, you're just doing some, I don't know, bunte Bilder. Yeah? And this is not something, I mean, this would not be my ultimate goal. So, you know, this technology, using the technology, understanding the technology, ingesting it into in the structure and in the organization drives innovation, and this is what marketing needs to deliver to an organization.
Absolutely, but the thing is, I think you always need to have your targets clear anyhow, without AI or with AI, so you need to do it for a specific purpose.
But that's why I'm talking about the brand health, you know?
Yeah, right. And then if you dig one step deeper into that, you need, for example, you need to have your KPIs right. So what do I need to steer my campaigns better? Maybe you have new KPIs like attention or something that AI maybe then helps you to steer, as we have also seen a little bit before. This is one thing. Or if you want to save some money on your, in our case, networks, then you have AI as a tool to load balance all of the stuff that is going through your networks. But however, the main KPI is then to keep your network stable, to have a stable network and have like a really good product at the end. So it's just, I think it's a tool to make things more efficient, first of all, and then also more effective at the end. And I think this is something that with less money, built on recession, built on also and so many options also in the market, then I think you need to be clear, much clearer next year and in the years afterwards, what is your goal, what is your target? Just spending on test and learns does not help, I think. You need to know, for example, if you spend on social media, what the issue is, low VTRs, low average watch times, and then your target is probably how to get the VTRs up or the average watch times up, and how can AI help me to do so?
Can we still continue? We're out of time, but of course, we
Probably
started a little bit later.
Some music.
We are fine? Yeah, 5 minutes? Okay.
Singing.
Yeah, some music again. but maybe let's take the opportunity to talk about tonight's gala, because there we kind of praised excellence in marketing campaigns and relevant campaigns. And of course, they used AI somewhere on the kind of production chain. But isn't that also on the CMO's agenda to just do the shit right? Yeah. So to do good campaigns to the market, to the consumer.
One thing I saw in the examples that we saw and voted for, I think the KPIs were pretty well shaped. I've never seen in a round where we have this much calculation and this much return on investment focus. I think that shows the context we are in, the economy. We're all pressured to perform again. This whole transforming on a operating body, on a already performing body, living body, and I think that was for me quite nice to see that it is not this. You called it bunte Bilder, no? It's definitely not about that. It's really analytics and creativity coming together and delivering results. And I saw a lot of focus there from my end, that there was clear focus on what was to be targeted, what we wanted to achieve via those. And yeah, kudos to all the good work there.
I think also the chances, I mean, we've talked about, the measurements and the efficiencies and all the, I would say, technical things which AI could or can deliver for sure. But then there's also the fun part in terms of, I do really believe that AI can also boost creativity. And then we're talking about relevance, and then we're talking about brand again. And I think, and I've seen both of these sides in the work we've done with the judging. So I was not really surprised about the feedbacks of the Kantar thing, but on the other side, I mean,
1 in 5 was kind of shocking, right?
Yeah, it was on one side it was shocking. On the other side, I think it's the brutal reality, because I do believe that the CMOs need to sit down and think properly about that.
Which is back to your point, right? Get proficiency. Yeah?
Yes, correct. And back to your question on the brand effectiveness, I think, yes, AI can definitely kind of enhance creativity, contribute to it, and help being more creative and innovative. But in the end, what we see for next year as big trends, especially in B2B, which is a kind of major topic for us, it's first of all humanizing brands more. That's a really important one, especially in B2B, because if we think about B2B companies and products, we often think about very rational topics, a bit boring topics. And I think humans can really help, like people like thought leaders in a company, also influencers in specific parts of the industry, can help make it more emotional, can really show passion and really kind of show the company's products and brand in a different way. And I think that's completely the opposite of AI, to be honest.
Absolutely,
and these are definitely
I
trends
think it's not
we
just
see.
B2B. Look at my former brand, my love brand, Tea. They turned completely into a human brand, yeah?
I also think it's crucial. In this cacophony out there of millions, gazillions of messages that we all produce, by the way, I think you need to be disruptive. You need to be good. You need to create impact. You need to be relevant. And if you're not heard. And everything you do is just wasted. And therefore, I think for the award, to answer your question, we focused a lot. I've been at several awards this year because we won a lot of awards. However, you as well, I know. So at the end, what we did here was we didn't give out so many prizes. We rather focused on the real disruptive stuff that is out there, and I'm really proud.
Very hard discussions.
With very hard discussions. And long.
I think one thing I would add, I mean, we've talked about it, but I think it's crucial, and I say it every time I've been asked. I think stick to your brand strategy and be consistent. I mean, one of the biggest failures I always see, at least from my industry, is that the lack of consistency. And we can use all tools and all technologies, but if you don't have a strategy and if you are not consistent over years, not just months, and you do some marketing by opportunity stuff, then you will never succeed. This is my point of view.
Full stop. I think Dennis said brand essence. Full stop, right?
Yes, she said.
That's it. Okay. Thanks very much for kind of putting the agenda 2025. Yes, you can applaud, of course.
Maybe, Mark, one final thing I want to say.
Course, always.
Yeah. No. Just want to add to the positive note from Henrik. So we keep positive and a good closure. I think he talked about humanizing also. I think this is so much humanizing our work, and I really appreciate all the efforts on bringing us together in person, not online, that we can sit together, feel together, and exchange. I think this is really lovely, and it's as good as sitting at a table eating dinner with family in a Bosch kitchen.
And that's actually the brand.
It was the
essence.
advertising break.
There goes the brand.
That's actually the brand essence of the MMA. Yeah.
That's
so
lovely.
thank you very much for your last words. Thank you, guys. Yeah. Thank you, Elvin. Are you coming on stage, or do I do the famous last words? No, you do, right?
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody.